This is the dream week for NFL insiders to just share all of the information that they have been hearing throughout this draft process to help add to the chaos that is going to play out tomorrow night in Green Bay. I got a first look. I don't know, Producer Evan, if you've seen some of the pictures of what the stage looks like, what the green room looks like. I think it's got a really cool feel, Green Bay being the host of the draft this year.
I haven't seen any of it.
It's cool. I think it's a really cool look. And what I love so much about the draft is, listen, growing up, it was a mainstay. Radio City Music Hall in New York, where I grew up. So it was kind of cool that the draft was always in your backyard. It was always going on in the city. But since they've made the decision over a decade now that they've been doing this, that they've been taking the draft on the road and they've been moving it around, I think we've had some really cool cities and having some really cool environments. I thought Detroit was really awesome. I was in attendance for the draft in Kansas City, and I thought it was electric down there. I was in attendance for the Nashville draft when the Cardinals took Kyler Murray #1 overall.
That one had to be cool.
You want to talk about a party? It was a 3-day party for football fans. I have never seen anything like it. It was the first draft that I attended. I was working, doing radio, and we were there to do the show because the Cardinals had the #1 overall pick. And it was just, they closed down the entire Main Street, Broadway Street down there in downtown Nashville. And it's just, I love country music. So it's country music and live music all the time. You just walk around, people are drinking, wearing their football jerseys. It was a big party for 3 days. One of the coolest sports experiences that I've ever had covering a sporting event. So yeah, it's really cool. And from what I've seen so far of Green Bay, it has seemed to live up to the billing so far. And we'll see what it looks like tomorrow night when we see the national TV broadcast of it. The insiders dumping their information to add to the chaos in Green Bay. Adam Schefter on his podcast, which I believe is called the Adam Schefter Podcast, he was asked to give some intel on all 32 teams. Here is what he had to say about the Arizona Cardinals.
All right, so let's start with the Arizona Cardinals.
They've added 3 key defensive linemen this offseason: Josh Sweat, Dalvin Tomlinson, Calais Campbell. So they've addressed the defensive line. It might be time to address the offensive line for the Arizona Cardinals in this draft, but they also still need help at cornerback.
Would we say that they have addressed and used the past tense to the defensive line? I think they've done a nice job. I think Josh Sweat is a really nice addition. It's going to fit the system well. Knows Gannon, Super Bowl champion, impacted the Super Bowl, so shows up when the lights are brightest. I think awesome signing. Dalvin Tomlinson, maybe an even better signing to get a guy of his caliber along the interior of the defensive line. To bring home Calais Campbell, who has been, even as recently as last season, a key contributor to a team that was trying to compete for the playoffs. But I don't think any of us have thought that the work is done there. I don't think any of us have assumed that they can take that off the table, that they don't have to come out of this draft with another edge rusher, that they don't have to come out of this draft with another defensive lineman. In fact, I have campaigned that I think you have to more invest in the defensive line along the interior than you do the edge, because the 2 guys you brought in free agency are on the older side. Sweat's going to be here for the next 4 years. You can take your time a little bit. I want Darius Robinson and somebody else to wreak havoc alongside that interior. I want to add somebody else younger to help me after Calais Campbell and Dalvin Tomlinson are gone. So I don't think we can write that off, but I do find it very interesting that he said that perhaps they flip to the offensive side of the ball and worry about offensive line. And he made a point to mention corner. Now I'm going to pair 2 pieces of information together here. Adam Schefter mentioning corner, and Peter Schrager did a mock today for ESPN. What was the official title of the mock on ESPN that Peter Schrager did?
I can find it officially, but off the top of my head, it was given sources around the league.
I think
Here
he
it
used
is.
the word
Schrager's
intel.
NFL mock draft, 32 prediction based on sources in the league.
And what did he have? You want to scroll down to the Arizona Cardinals at 16 there, Producer Evan, because he has them taking Jahdae Barron, the corner out of Texas. You want to read me the blurb from Peter Schrager?
The Thorpe Award winner is the top corner in the class, not named Travis Hunter. The Cardinals have been quietly adding premier talent through the draft for the past few years. Remember, head coach Jonathan Gannon is a defensive backs coach by trade. This one makes a lot of sense.
Peter Schrager is not mocking Jahdae Barron to the Cardinals at 16 on a whim. He's not doing it on a hunch. Something is pointing him in that direction. Will he be right? I don't know. Plenty of these mock drafts that we're going to see this week, that we've seen this week, that we're going to see the rest of today, that we'll see tomorrow when everybody puts out their final mock draft for the 2025 NFL draft, they're going to be wrong. They're not going to get all the picks right. But this entire time, we've been talking about edge rushers. When we've discussed corner, Will Johnson's name has come up more. But all of a sudden this week, Will Johnson's knee has come into question. And all of a sudden, now there's a mock draft pointing to Jahdae Barron, corner out of Texas. Do we know if they brought Barron in on a 30 visit? I don't remember if his name was a name that we mentioned as somebody who got a 30 visit. That would be another dead giveaway. It would be a dead giveaway to me if all of a sudden there's some information pointing in the direction of Jahdae Barron. He gets put in this mock draft. Will Johnson's knee's a concern for some teams, and Barron got a 30 visit. I won't lie, I don't remember the 30 visits off the top of my head. And most of the time when we discussed them, it was alongside the interior of the defensive line and the offensive line guys that came in. I don't remember if Barron's name, and I know producer Evan is furiously typing away on the keyboard because I heard it in my ears. He is trying to find out if Jahdae Barron was part of the 30 visits. So I'll let you work effortlessly back there to try to find out that information. But if he was, that would connect all of the dots for me to be like, there may be something there. You may want to keep an eye on Jahdae Barron being the pick at 16 tomorrow. If not, I do still think it's interesting.
As far as we know, he has not met with the Cardinals.
So not part of the 30 visits.
As far as the names we know, which is about 18, he's not on that list.
So he could be a part of the mysterious 12.
12, yeah.
That we don't know if they used all 12 of their 30 visits. Could be a part of that list. I don't know. When names come out of nowhere, and it's not like people weren't mocking Barron to the Cardinals. I've seen it a couple of times. But most of the time, if it's a corner, it's been Will Johnson. And so the knee injury, now this from Peter Schrager, who's doing this off of intel. Again, the title of his mock talked about using sources and information that he has gathered to put it together. Schefter talking about offensive line and corner. I wonder if that is something to just keep an eye on tomorrow. We'll make our final predictions here on the show tomorrow for what the Cardinals do. Maybe we'll do a big board, our top five options for the Cardinals tomorrow. Write that down, producer Evan, one of our segments on tomorrow's show. We'll give you our 5 predictions as to who the Cardinals will take at 16.